Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I converted an old diesel engine to a spark ignition engine running on a gasifier. I had recently some problems with the ignition because the spark plug was start to glow inside the pre-ignition chamber, pre-combustion chamber, which the normal diesel injector is mounted. So after 20 to 30 minutes or so, it starts to detonate a bit. You hear this little ping 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 sound, which it actually always makes running on normal diesel, but running on gas it's not a good idea. So I finally thought out a way to prevent that. One moment. We're back in the shed where I'm machined the parts for converting the diesel engine. First things first, the problem with the spark plug. As you can see, the one I previously used getting way too hot. The iron is blue at some point. Because I thought this might be the right size, you see, for this is the diesel injector, by the way. Just this shapes, copper ring for sealing it, and this sandwich plate built into it. Now what I did was I want to make sure the spark ignited really good, and use a long spark plug, although it's a number 5, so that one was not appropriate. Sticking it farther in and using a number 5 didn't work so well. I started the number 8, which is shorter. Even that one gets less pinging, but you see the zinc is burning off and the metal is turning blue as well, where the negative electrode is. So that didn't work as well. What I have now is number 9, iridium spark plug. Number 9. That's even colder. It's a little tiny tip on it. I'm waiting for the thread making thing to tap for this thread for the spark plug. This is the insert, which is the same size as a spark plug actually, but now it's made so it fits exactly in the steel cover from the engine, just like the diesel injector, so the heat is can get somewhere. I probably my father recommended me to also throw some thermal paste around this thing, which is reasonable thought, although it needs to be some high temperature stuff. But hey, this is it. This is the insert for the. I made sure I can fit this key in here before I, so I can tie it down. Then I can put it in the engine, and then I can use this thing, which has a kind of the same sandwich plate kind of idea of this, but then it will slide inside here and it will squeeze in here. It's pretty tight as well, and now it's approximately the same size, or exactly the same size as the original injector. This might help preventing this kind of stuff, because the threads were not touching anything, they were just hanging in the shell, because this thread is also 40 millimeters. This is exactly 40 millimeters in the engine, and this is the sketch of it for this particular hatz diesel engine. 13 horsepower if I remember correctly on diesel, so I have about 10 horsepower on syngas, I hope. Next thing is the ignition. I used AliExpress DC CDI. I wired it up with the solenoid coil, because the small diameter speed reduced pulley to start the diesel engine is so small in diameter, and it's geared down 2. So it only rotates about 750 RPM at maximum speed. So the normal scooter type pickup coil, it's called, didn't work so well. But now, show it, hook it up to the thing, and if the magnet gets near. Oh. Oh, wait a second, I have to turn it around. Haha. Hello. One moment. Yeah, got it now. It was turned around. Oh, freak. No, third time. Ah. There you go. That's it for the ignition. That works. Now I machined this thicker head gasket. Stock it's like 0.8 millimeter, 0.82 if I remember correctly. This is a 2 millimeter. Now it's probably a little less because I sanded it down a bit using calipers. One more. Oh, it's exactly 2 millimeters, which brings the compression down to about between 16.5 and 17. And I machined it out of a sheet of copper on the lathe, small lathe I have. Worked pretty well. Next thing is the governor. The injection pump is normally this piece, and there's a wheel which pushes it up and down at the right moment, and the governor fork is here. You can see whenever I do this, it will move this lever, and then that lever on the engine will move this lever, which goes to the carburetor. The carburetor is from 14 horsepower engine. Oh no, wait a second, it's from such an engine like this. They say 15 horsepower on gasoline. So you get about, whatever, 10 to 12 horsepower on woodgas. So this diameter is plenty for the gas flow rate. Now let's throw the egg on there and see how it performs. Here I pulled out the injector pump and the cylinder head. Try to get some light. You can see how it looks inside. It's pretty old engine oil stuff. Combustion chamber seems a little lean. I might do something about these edges as well. Edges are never good for high temperature stuff. You can see the explosions are really getting spread out from here. And there seems to be some oil stuff. I also ran it a few hours actually on diesel when I converted it back. And I guess it's oil. Probably a little bit of leakage here. Let's see how the cylinder looks. Back at the engine with the cylinder. It also seems to have a little oil. There was a little bit on the exhaust manifold as well. You see it on this side, I believe. Yeah, look. Wonder where that came from. Well, it mostly comes out of here, I think. That's probably... Oh, the hole marks are nicely visible. It has some scratches, but I also grinded new grooves or bigger grooves in the piston because the piston rings were not suited for this piston somehow. They were original hatz. Yeah, that's it, the E89FG type piston ring, but they were quite a bit thicker, so I had to modify the piston. Oh, that's nothing too bad. Should hold it down a bit, one moment. And as we can see, if the piston is... Oh, it's already... Come on, stay there. So the cylinder head is off now. Everything doesn't look too bad. Now when the cylinder is top dead center, you can see that this hole is aligned with whenever the bolt is in the first hole is top dead center, the other one is 7 degrees or 6, no, I remember correctly, 6 degrees. Second is 12 degrees, the other one is 21 degrees, like the normal gasoline. This doesn't work at all. It will only, start to rotate the other direction. So we need to be very close to top dead center, indicated in the research paper from the Viking gasifier, where it also runs on modified diesel engine, high compression converted diesel engine, 18.5 to 1 if I remember correctly, and they have about 7 degree ignition advance, which is about the same as we're gonna get if we turn this a little bit back, if I can manage it. This is a 2 to 1 ratio, like here, because the ignition will fire if the magnet comes near it. And that's still quite a bit. So I guess we should... That's weird, because now it fires and you see the black stuff. So the flame reaches it on the way up. Jeez, well, why is this? This is heavy stuff. You can see it right there. Come on. There we go. Right there. Now you can just see the little slit. Actually fires. The flame is already here, and it's still going up, so that's a bad thing. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place it back to the first hole, because I really know that the second hole was where I run it the last time with the short and colder spark plug, and this magnet should be glued on again. It's going loose now. Or let's pretend it's in here and it fires now. How would that look like? Oh, look at that. If it fires now, then it actually gonna fire more like here. Oh, one moment. So here it is when the spark starts, and then it should be here. Whenever it's aligned with it, then it's actually, then the flame is already here. And that's exactly when the piston starts to move down. So this should be the perfect ignition timing, in theory. I have made a little mark there in between those two things. There is the top dead center. So I'm gonna mark that one on the side here too, so I know exactly what I'm doing here. Wait a second. So the mark is here now, exactly on top dead center. So now we can watch this with strobe light whenever I get it running, and yeah. Now let's put it back together. First you have to remove this little gasket over here. And look, that goes. There we go. Let's measure it again. Ah, 0.1. That's not good. Oh, there you go. Oh, 6.3. Let it be 0.6. Now we're so 1.4 millimeter extra in a diameter of 90 millimeters, I believe. So that should give us a few cc extra. Back in the shed, I'm gonna spray this thicker head gasket with copper spray gasket sealant. So we have this, so it will fit pretty nice. Just a little bit on it. So then we dry it and then we squeeze everything in. I also calculate real quick where we had a theoretical. The bore is 90, stroke is 106. Okay, then this diagram. And the original gasket is 91 inner diameter and 0.6, so that's 3.9 cc's. And the CR I measured before was 21:1, so that means for a 647 cc it's a 33 cc rest with that particular compression. That means that if the head gasket is almost 4 cc's, the pre-ignition chamber is about 28 cc's. Now if we raise it to 2 millimeter height, I made a mistake. This head gasket is 92 millimeters, and I did that because the original one was overlapping the exhaust valve a little bit, and that might get some, some stuff, some hot spots, I call it, I guess. So it's a little bigger, 13.3 cc now for the gasket only. And that means we're adding it up to 41.5 cc's, which turns out to be 16.3 to 1 compression ratio for this one. That's the theoretical compression ratio. How do you call it? When it's not isentropic compression, I think is the term. Adiabatic? Whatever. When you have perfect compression, where no heat escapes or enters or whatever, then you have this theoretical thing, and that's static compression, I believe it's called. But the dynamic compression is most of the time higher because it takes it has friction while it's being compressed and the chamber is still hot and it must absorb some of it, so it might be higher than that. Dynamically it would be around, who knows, 1 to 19, 1 to 18, whatever. But hey, let's throw it on and see how it looks. As you can see now, this is perfectly aligned with the gap for the exhaust valve. Otherwise it will hang over there and I don't like that. On the other hand, it makes another edge at the cylinder of about 1 millimeter at around, but whatever, you have to do some trade-offs, you know, for such things. One last look inside the... oh no, my lights not working. Let's throw it back together. As you can see, the spark plug fits perfectly inside here. It's been tied down now. Only thing is I need to remove a little more of the chamber so the thread is not exposed anymore. Be back soon. And we're back and it's more or less perfect. Now, let's throw it in the engine. Here we are at the engine. I've seen that this pipe is a little short and when I clamp it down it's still not as tight as I want. So I made this little washer go on top of this thing to hold it a little deeper. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, if you look really closely, we have now a bit more space in between the engine and the injector. It's all tied down and I hope the thing still fits inside. There we go. Ignition. Let's see if this thing has a bit compression. So, bouncing. Look at it bouncing back. You hear a little air coming out of the breathing tube, and the other is from the... let's put the governor. Oh yeah, about the governor. How it works now. When you put it in low, it's right angles, and end up. Perfectly, and when it hits this carved out tube there, that's the 1500 RPM limiter. I've seen if you throw the other way around, you see then if I do it down, it also engages it. And that's engaging the nut regulator, because there's a stamped in thing here, 1500. That's the regulated part. Originally it seems to be a 2500 RPM engine. So you can run it in this stage, I think, higher than 1500, but who wants that? As we have already a nice generator. Put it in high. What? Almost 700 cc of compression. I can't push it through here. Although if I hang in it, maybe it will. Yeah, it comes. So it has a slight leakage because nothing is perfect. Could be a valve, could be a, but it takes quite some force. And with the speed, you know, any engine will leak down at some point. So, how nice. Let's start it up and see how it does. So, finally, after all those troubles with the magnet falling off, the gasifier blocking, second nozzle was blocked. Now it's heating up again, it's fairly clean already. I could put on the electrostatic precipitator, it makes the flame blue again. If it's straight, of course. Fairly blue. Let's check out if the engine runs in it. And let's start right up. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Pop, 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 pop. That's beautiful. Well, let's put it on full throttle. Again, push this thing, turn it over.
Always need to heat up a bit.
There you go. I think the ignition advance is too much retarded. Let me ache that a bit. And we're back. It's about 10 degrees earlier now. Now, I'm very oh, that sounds a lot better. Nou, nog een keer. Stationary. More throttle.
Under load?
6 amps. Oh, seems pretty good. Alright, place the ignition back to 6 degrees before top dead center. And electricity precipitator was a little bit faulty because of all the problems I had. It should work now again perfectly. Look at it. Alright, well, one moment. Let's check if it starts up. Oh, right up. Oh, let's speed it up a bit. What up? Another time. Funny. due to some circumstances I only managed to get almost 11 amps at 220 volts, sometimes a little lower, 210. So estimate it's about, well, what is it, 2400 watts with yeah, 80% throttle or whatever, so that's about maximum. I have to stop the test, although this is the raw flame again, by the way. This gasifier is working pretty good, although this wooden board it stands on is getting on fire, so I have to stop this test now. And that's pretty easy with the gasifier. You just stop the air and stop this gas, and then you put this thing open a bit so it can vent out the moisture, otherwise it will be a problem next time. You hear that? Well, this is how you convert a diesel engine to run on syngas. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching.